That $40 bug zapper has been sitting on your porch all summer doing exactly nothing. The citronella candles smell nice. The yard spray lasted 3 days. And tonight, you are back outside, slapping mosquitoes off your arms, while the same companies that sold you those things are already designing next season's version. Last summer, an old box fan from the garage did what none of those products could. A piece of window screen, a shallow tray of water, one night of run time, and the next morning, the screen was black. Not a few mosquitoes. Thousands. It looks wrong. It sounds wrong. And that is exactly why nobody in the mosquito control industry wants you to find out about it. This video covers 4 things: why everything you have tried has already failed, how this trap actually works, the one mistake that kills the whole setup, and how to stop your yard from breeding replacements every single night. Most people run through the same 4 options before they give up and just stay inside. They buy a bug zapper. They burn citronella candles. They spray the yard. Or they plug in an ultrasonic device by the back door and trust the box. And every single one of those feels like it should work. The bug zapper snaps and lights up and gives you the satisfying sense that something is dying. The citronella candle fills the air with something strong enough that it seems like it should bother a mosquito. The yard spray leaves a visible mist across the grass and bushes. The ultrasonic device is quiet and effortless, and the packaging is very convincing. None of them solve the problem. And the reason is the same across all 4. Mosquitoes do not navigate primarily by light. They do not turn around because something smells unpleasant. They track carbon dioxide from your breath, heat from your body, and the scent coming off your skin. A candle and a zapper and a frequency emitter are not even speaking the right language. Spray gets closer. It knocks down what is flying tonight. But if your yard is still holding water in a bucket behind the shed, in a clogged gutter, in a plant saucer that filled up 3 days ago during the last rain, new mosquitoes are already in production while you think the job is done. Here is the part the packaging never mentions. Mosquitoes fly at roughly 1 to 1.5 miles per hour. That is not fast. That is barely moving. A light breeze on the patio that you would not even notice is enough to throw a mosquito completely off course. That weakness is the entire trap. And the thing built to exploit it is already in your garage. A mosquito is not a strong flyer. That sounds obvious until you actually think about what it means. A housefly can correct course in turbulent air. A moth can push through wind and stay on a scent trail. A mosquito cannot do either of those things. It weighs almost nothing, its wings are narrow, and at 1 to 1.5 miles per hour, it is operating right at the edge of what its body can handle in still air. Add any meaningful airflow, and it loses the fight completely. A standard box fan moves air at somewhere between 2 and 5 miles per hour depending on the setting. To you, that is a mild breeze. To a mosquito, that is an insurmountable wall. But a fan alone does not build a trap. This is where most people who try this method get it wrong before they even start. A box fan has 2 sides. The blowing side pushes air out. The intake side pulls air in. If you attach a screen to the blowing side, the fan pushes mosquitoes away from the screen. You are not trapping anything. You are just redirecting them. The screen goes on the intake side. That is the only side that matters. When a mosquito enters the airflow zone on the intake side, it cannot generate enough thrust to fly back out. The suction pulls it forward and holds it flat against the screen. The more it tries to escape, the more energy it burns. By morning, it is dead. The formula is simple. The fan pulls. The screen holds. Take away either one, and you have nothing. The water tray behind the fan on the intake side is what draws mosquitoes into range in the first place. Female mosquitoes are hardwired to find standing water. It is where they lay eggs. It is the signal their biology has followed for millions of years. A shallow tray with 2 inches of water is not a random addition to this trap. It is the bait that starts the whole sequence. Mosquito detects water, mosquito flies toward it, mosquito enters the suction zone, mosquito hits the screen. That is the entire cycle. Applied physics against an insect that was never built to handle moving air. You do not need anything unusual to build this. If you have a garage or a shed, you probably already have half of it. A 20-inch box fan, a piece of window screen or fine mesh mosquito netting, zip ties or large binder clips depending on how often you plan to clean it, a shallow water tray or small bucket, scissors to cut the screen. That is the entire list. If you already own the fan, the rest costs almost nothing. Start by finding the intake side. Do not guess. Turn the fan on low, hold a thin piece of paper near each face and watch what happens. The side that pulls the paper toward it is the intake side. The side that pushes the paper away is the blowing side. Remember which is which before you touch the screen. Cut your screen slightly larger than the face of the fan. Leave about 2 inches of extra material on each side. It does not need to look clean, it needs to fit tight, with no sagging and no open corners. Mosquitoes are small enough to find any gap, and the suction only works when the screen surface is flush against the intake face. Pull it firm and secure it. Zip ties hold all season. Clips and Velcro let you remove it in seconds for cleaning. Choose based on how willing you are to maintain it daily. Place the water tray approximately 2 feet from the intake side. Not beside your chair, not in the center of the yard. 2 feet from the fan on the intake side, close enough to pull mosquitoes into the suction zone before they reach the water. Position the entire setup near the edges of your yard. Shady corners, fence lines, the gap between bushes and the patio, low wind spots where mosquitoes actually rest and move through, not in open space and not next to where anyone is sitting. Turn it on 30 minutes before sunset, not when mosquitoes are already on your legs, before they leave their hiding spots and start looking for a target. That 30-minute head start is the difference between a full screen in the morning and an empty one. Most people who try this trap and quit did not have a bad trap. They had a setup mistake they never caught. The first mistake is attaching the screen to the blowing side. This one is worth repeating because it ruins the entire trap while looking completely correct. The fan runs. The screen is on. Nothing seems wrong. But the blowing side pushes air out, which means it is pushing mosquitoes away from the screen instead of pulling them onto it. The trap runs all night and catches almost nothing. Most people blame the method. The method was never the problem. The second mistake is skipping the screen entirely. Some people assume the fan blades will handle it. A few unlucky mosquitoes might fly into the blades and die. But the screen is not decoration. It is the holding surface. Without it, there is no place for mosquitoes to collect, no visible result in the morning, and no way to know whether the trap is working at all. The third mistake is placing the water tray next to your seating area. The logic sounds reasonable. You are getting bitten here, so the trap should go here. But the water tray is bait. Bait draws mosquitoes toward it. When the bait is next to your chair, it is drawing mosquitoes toward your ankles. Place the trap between where mosquitoes travel and where you sit, not beside you. The fourth mistake is leaving the water tray outside when the fan is off. Still water with no airflow is not a trap. It is a nursery. Female mosquitoes will find it, lay eggs in it, and your trap has now become the source of the problem it was built to solve. The fifth mistake is a practical one. Poor cord management, no weather cover, and a cleanup process that takes too long will kill this trap by day 3, regardless of how well it was built. The best trap is the one still running on Friday. If the setup makes you dread maintaining it, you will stop. And a fan sitting back in the garage catches nothing. The trap works. Now make it something you will actually keep using. The first upgrade is not stronger bait or a bigger fan. It is making the screen easier to remove. If you used zip ties to secure it the first time, you already know the problem. The next morning when you want to shake it out or rinse it, you are cutting ties and starting over. Switch to large binder clips, Velcro, or strong magnets if your fan frame can hold them. The screen comes off in seconds, gets shaken out away from the door, gets rinsed if needed, and goes back on. The whole process should take less time than making coffee. When cleaning becomes a chore, the fan goes back in the garage. Keep it simple enough that you do it every morning without thinking. The second upgrade is the bait. Plain water works, and it is enough to get started. But on heavy mosquito nights, warm water with a small amount of brown sugar, a pinch of yeast, and a few drops of dish soap pulls harder. The fermented smell mimics the kind of organic standing water mosquitoes have evolved to find. The dish soap breaks the surface tension, so anything that lands in the tray cannot escape. Do not place this upgraded bait tray anywhere near your seating area. Stronger bait means stronger attraction. Let it pull mosquitoes toward the fan, not toward your legs. But here is what the trap alone cannot do. It catches what is already flying. It does not touch what is still in the water. After every rain, walk the yard. Plant saucers, buckets, clogged gutters, low spots and tarps, anything holding water that does not need to. Dump it, flip it, or move it somewhere dry. For water you have to keep, bird baths, rain barrels, small ponds, use BTI mosquito dunks. They kill larvae before they become the next night's problem. The system is 3 things. The fan trap handles tonight. Correct placement protects the area where you sit. The post-rain walk cuts off next week before it starts. Separate any one of those layers, and the other 2 work twice as hard for half the result. That same garage fan, that same back porch. The only difference is what the screen looks like in the morning. Mosquitoes have one physical weakness, and a box fan is already engineered to exploit it. The intake side, the screen, the water tray, the placement, the post-rain walk, none of it is complicated. All of it matters. Where are you putting yours? On the porch, along the fence line, near the bushes by the patio. Drop it in the comments along with what the screen looked like the next morning. And if this is the kind of thing nobody tells you before you spend money on something that does not work, subscribe. That is the entire reason this channel exists.